Welcome to the dynamic learning hub of XLR at Andheri East. A prime spot conveniently located at just a 5-minute walk from LIC Andheri Metro. In our journey of over a decade, we have proudly trained over 2 lakh students. We have also been recognized by Deloitte, Silicon India, and other accreditation bodies. Experience learning like never before in our spacious and comfortable classrooms. With high-definition projectors and state-of-the-art acoustics in place, we ensure effective learning even to the farthest point in the room. The hybrid mode is a game changer as you can enjoy the benefits of a live classroom from the comfort of your home. Even if you happen to miss any classroom session, you can still attend the same session with the same trainer at the same time at your convenience, maintaining consistency in your learning progress. Wanna get started? Join us for a demo or career chat over a cup of coffee at our Andheri branch. XLR. We don't just train, we build careers.
Yes, so the collaboration with XLR was an excellent one. We conducted a Power BI workshop with Advanced Excel over a span of 3 days. The workshop was almost 12 hours long in total. Mr. Karthik, who was an amazing trainer, helped the students understand the concepts deeply. I am sure that the students will be able to apply these concepts in their careers as well as their daily lives.
The trainer, Mr. Karthik, was an excellent person where he explained in very detailed manner on how to give great insights using very complex data sets.
So it was a machine learning workshop. We learned a lot from the course and it was a great experience attending the workshop.
The trainer was very helpful. He had a hands-on approach with his teaching and it was fabulous.
This was a great experience for me. So I would absolutely love it if XLR and its team would come again to our campus and conduct more events like this.
It was a great course and it started from basics and took me to a great extent.
The experience of the workshop was really nice. The feedback from all the students was positive. They understood the concept. The workshop was also practical based with some questions. The experience with XLR was very smooth. They helped us in conducting the workshop smoothly right from the booking of the vendor and deciding the course till the distribution of certificates. In overall, this workshop was a success during our Technical Fest Atmos, and I thank XLR for being a part of it.
I was very much interested in learning digital marketing course for a very long period of time, but I don't get a proper platform. So later for my college, I get to know about XLR and I enrolled in XLR course. It was really good experience. Our course has been taken by Mayur sir, and he was very good teacher. He not only focusing on theory part, he is doing how real digital marketing works, and it was in total very good experience. I get so much of knowledge. Here they're not only focusing on study, they're also conducting different exam to test our knowledge. And as we are giving the exam, so to appreciate our work, they give certificates for the toppers, and along with the certificate they give hampers. Thank you, XLR.
Recently, I was searching for digital marketing courses online in Google, and I came across XLR, and I attended a digital marketing course which was for 15 days. My mentor Mayur helped me for attending these classes. So he is a very informative and helpful guy. In the course end, there is a exam which I topped. So I came to the XLR office in Bengaluru. This digital marketing course has helped my career and my skills to develop, and the certificate has helped my company to join. Thank you, XLR.
I came to know about this course from my college. Actually, for
Good evening, all. Students, kindly ask your friends to join the session. As today the participants are very less, I request please ask your friends to join the session. Roshit sir, you can start for the day.
Yeah, sure. So very good evening, students. I see a less strength than yesterday. So please ask your friends to join fast so that we'll be starting in 2 more minutes. Okay, so please put it in the groups or communities or in your WhatsApp channels or your college or other channels. So please ask your friends to join fast. Please remind them once. So we are going to discuss on React today and JavaScript today, and then the backend part yesterday we have discussed, right? So that backend part we are going to connect the front end as well. So full stack application today we are going to discuss. So please ask your friends to join fast. I'll be starting in 1 more minute. Quick. I'm sharing my screen. Opening my box. Can I get a quick heads up before I start the strength? Okay, fine. So, am I audible? I'm audible, students?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
So, very good evening. Welcome to the last session on FSD. So, from tomorrow, we'll be starting the ML part. Okay. So, what is discussed in the last class? Can I get a quick heads up in the chat box on what is discussed in the last class? Yes. What we have started or what we have discussed in the last class. Sanurada, can you tell what is discussed in the last class? Did we start with Spring 4? Yes. So the Monday's class itself, we have discussed the Spring 4, right? And then we discussed the Spring Boot as well. Yes. And we also discussed about the MVC design pattern. And then we also discussed the Spring REST, right? So to define any class as your controller class, as your REST controller, I've discussed about your IPL score, if you remember. So how that is reflecting inside your quick bus. Inside your quick bus, how it is reflecting that IPL score, I've discussed, right? So using your REST APIs, right? So to represent any class as your REST API class, which annotation you'll be using with? You'll be going with the REST controller annotation, right? REST controller annotation. And then inside this annotation, you will have your for different types of different requests, you'll be writing those different annotations, right? So for your get, you'll be going with the direct get mapping, right? In the e-commerce website, I've discussed yesterday in the controller class. Yes, then for post, you'll be going with the post mapping, right? Then for your put delete, or put mapping, yes. For your delete, put in the sense like if you wanted to update the whole JSON, like whole data, like basically one request data, if you wanted to update, you can go with the put request. Then you have your delete request as well, right? So if you wanted to delete, if you wanted to delete any particular data, you'll be going with the delete request as well. So in that, this controller, initially the request will be moving from your front end to your controller. And then from the controller, I have integrated or I have dependent, like I have did the injection of your service class here, right? So all the service classes I have written, whatever controllers were there for all those service classes I have written, right? In the service classes, what I'm doing, I have written the business logic, right? I have written the business logic. Then this service class is interacting with your repository classes, right? So for that, I have created a repository for every address or for your category or for your products. I've created the repository interfaces, and then I have created. Then I went with the entity classes. I went with the DTO classes. So why is DTO required? Also, I've explained. So if you wanted to get the request in this format rather than interacting directly with entity classes or response in this format, if you wanted to send what format you wanted to send, that you will be representing inside your DTO, like that all data, right? Then you have your enums. I discussed about enums as well. How you can declare like your array format, right? Then you have your mapper classes as well, right? So mapper in the sense you will convert your entity to DTO, DTO to entity. That code you'll be writing inside your mapper layer, right? So I see like yesterday, like e-commerce, you understood only half part I got. Like I believe. So in that case, I have chosen this normal project today. Like I have chosen a normal project today. Your employee management system only I have chosen. Like some normal employee CRUD app I have chosen today. So that I will explain. Yesterday, like I have explained the e-commerce code, but I think you are not very clear. So in that sense, I am going with the simple employee CRUD app. Okay. So with the whole MVC design pattern layer itself, I will discuss once the backend code. And then what I'll be doing, I will go with the, yesterday I asked you to do the HTML, CSS on portfolio site as well, right? Did anyone of you done that? Creation of your portfolio website, basically, using your HTML and CSS. Is that done? Can I get a quick response in the chat box? I don't want the chat box to be silenced. So please keep on answering in between. In the meanwhile, if you have any questions, please be interactive like how you did in yesterday's class. The same interaction I need. Okay. So I see the audience are similar. So please chat in the chat box. Like how many of you are done with this portfolio website? Yes, Niro done. Niro done. Okay. Simba Prasad are done. Sandhya, Tasmia. Okay, good. Good. Okay, done. Tejal Das, Neha, Sakshi, Mansa, Kirtana, Meet. Then, okay. So I need the same response, guys. I don't want to call your names. You should only respond. Okay. Every time I will not be calling your names. So please respond in the chat box that you are getting something. Okay, so that I can move forward. Okay. So now, so this HTML, CSS I've discussed some part yesterday, right? So today what I'll be doing after this backend code discussion on employee management, once again I will discuss in another project that is employee management system. Yesterday I've discussed in e-commerce, right? So today I will discuss this backend code in employee management system and this thing. And then means another project I will discuss the second project. Okay, second project backend code. And then I'll be moving with the JavaScript concepts. Okay, then I will start React concepts. Then I will discuss the React frontend code for this employee management system. So that will be the agenda for today's class. So the next 1.5 hours, this will be our agenda. Okay, so clear with the agenda part? Yes. Yes. Okay. So let me go to my Eclipse. I have created the employee management system with the same dependencies again. So where you'll be finding your dependencies, what added if you wanted to see. Where you'll be going. This is a normal Maven project, right? So the Maven project, which is a main file, where you'll be adding your dependencies. Can I get a quick response in the chat box? Which is a main file inside your Maven project, where you'll be adding all your jars and dependencies. Which file? Basically, form.xml file, right? So form.xml file, right? The form.xml file, you will be adding your dependencies, right? So basically in this, I've added the dependencies as Spring Data JPA dependency I've added. I've created basically a Spring Boot. So where you will be creating your Spring Boot app from where? Go to your start. Spring.io, your initializer. Okay. Then here you will be creating your project, right? Here you will be adding your dependencies. Then you click on generate, then the zip file will be downloaded. You can import it directly inside your Eclipse, right? So if you can see here, I've added the Spring data JPA dependency, then Spring Web dependency. So why I've added this web dependency? Because to support MVC, Spring MVC or Spring REST, I need this dependency. Okay, then for supporting your database operations, you're saving the database, a JPA kind of Hibernate kind of operations, I need this dependency, that is Spring Data JPA. Then I'm using MySQL database. So because of that reason, I'm going with the MySQL driver, MySQL connector. Then I'm going with the Lambok as well. Then we have this Spring test that will be defined by default. Okay, so Lambok, then MySQL connector, then you have your web dependency, then you have your data JPA dependency. Okay, data JPA dependency. These all dependencies I've added. Okay, so if you can see in the Maven dependencies, we have this all the dependencies. Okay, then this is all only the main files which are required for your usages. Form.xml file, Maven dependencies folder, and then in the source folder, you can create the jar files of it. Okay, you can create the jar files of it inside the target folder. Just one command, you will run it up in your terminal, Maven, like Maven Spring Boot :run. Okay, MVN Spring Boot :run. Then jar file will be generated for this project. Okay, inside your target folder itself. Then what I have done in the source main Java folder, I have created all these packages. You can observe com.backend.ems.management. This is your main package. Then I have created the sub packages, ems.management.controller, ems.management.dto. Okay, dot entity, dot exception, dot mapper, dot repository, dot service, dot IMPL, which is nothing but service implementation package. Okay, I've created all these packages like your MVC design patterns, right? Then in this, I have created, first I will discuss entity classes. I've created only one entity class, like yesterday e-commerce code I have discussed. In that I have created many entity classes. So that is tough to understand. So because of that reason only, I've gone with a simple project tool. That is employee management system. So in this, I've created an entity. Why I'm creating this entity? So basically save the data into database. It will automatically create the table. Instead of writing create table, employee, ID, name, those all things you will write the query, right? Inside your database. We used to write the query like that, right? Like this. Create table, like this. You used to write the query. But now what I'm doing directly, I'm creating the table from the Java application itself. The query who is writing means your Spring Data JPA is writing. Your Hibernate is writing in the backend, right? So for that reason, I'm going with the @entity annotation. For this normal Java class, if you want to mention @entity annotation, automatically for this class, the table will be created inside your database. Yes. So then you have your all the properties, ID, first name, last name, and your email. Okay. Then for ID, I'm putting it as @ID because it's a primary key column. To represent it as a primary key column, I'm representing with the @ID. Then you have your generated value strategy is equal to generation type dot identity. Means basically, we need not to give ID every time to save into a database. It will only automatically generate. So the first ID will be someone, the next ID will be 2. Like that, it will be auto generate. So for that reason, I'm going with this annotation, that is iterate generated value strategy is equal to generation type dot ID. This property I'm to use. Okay. Then on the top of it, the table name is employee. Like the table name is already employee. No need to mention here. If you wanted to change to employees, you can change it. Okay, using the table annotation. Then I'm going with the Lambok annotations, that is getters, setters, no-hours constructor, all-hours constructor, default constructor, parameters constructor, getters and setters. For these fields, the getters and setters will be added, the parameters constructor will be added, and all-hours constructor, the default constructor will be added because of your Lambda. Okay, so this is your normal simple entity class. Okay, am I clear until this point? The entity class, are you clear? Yes. So why I need to create an entity class? Basically, I need to create a table inside your database set. For that reason, I need to go with the entity class. Okay. Am I clear until this point? Then I have created the DTO package. Why I'm creating this DTO package? Basically, I should not touch the entity class. I should only touch the entity class to pass the data, to save the data into the database. To interact with the database only, I need to touch the entity class. But for passing the request or for handling the request or giving the response for the data, I should not pass your, I should not use your entity class. That's a bad practice. So for that reason, I'm going with the employee DTO class. I've created another class inside DTO package, that is employee DTO class, data transfer object, basically DTO stands for. Okay, so the same fields will be there. The same fields will be there. What the request is coming, the same fields will be there. Okay, but the thing is, the request will be taken inside your service class using this employee DTO itself. Inside your controller or inside your service, the request will be taken from this class itself. That's the only thing. The same fields will be there inside your DTO classes. Okay, then I have created a mapper package. This mapper package, what it does, if you ask me, sir, basically I'm writing only one logic here that will convert your employee entity to employee DTO or employee DTO to employee entity. So map to employee in the sense, it will take the request. So it will take the request of employee DTO basically. So the request will be coming here in the form of employee DTO format. I need to convert into employee entity format. Why I need to convert? Because while the request is coming to employee DTO, the employee entity class only can interact with the DB, right? Definitely, I need to convert employee DTO to employee. This is my user defined class, but this is my entity class. Definitely, while getting the request, I'll be getting the data in the form of this format. But the thing is, while interacting with the database, I need to definitely have the employee entity conversion. Okay, for that reason, I'm converting with this code. The simple logic. I'm creating an object of your employee entity class, and I'm passing all these fields inside the parameters construct. Okay, then you have your map to employee DTO. When giving back the response, while giving back the response to a client, the response will be in the form of employee entity format. I need to convert into employee DTO format to send it to the client. This is the only interface. This employee DTO is only the interface to the client. Either you can send the request to employee DTO only, or get the response using employee DTO only. So for that reason only, I'm converting it into from employee entity to employee DTO. Okay, so this is a parameterized construct. So am I clear until this point? With your mapper class or DTO class or so mapper class or DTO class or your entity class. Okay, then the next one is I will go with the repository. Okay, so you need to create an employee repository so that all the predefined methods will be coming. What are there inside your JPA repository? You need to create an interface, and if you extend directly you can use all the methods like save all, find all. Those all methods will be getting it from the employer. Okay, then you have your service class where you will be writing your business logic. It's always a good practice to create an interface and create all the methods inside it what you needed. So basically the CRUD app, right? So create employee, reading your employee, get employee by ID, get all employees, update employee, delete employee by ID. So basically, we are doing the management, right? So for that reason, I'm ending a CRUD app here. Create, get all employees, update, delete. Okay, delete employee by ID, get employee by ID, get all employees, update employee, create employee. So for this interface, I'm writing the implementation class. In that implementation class, I'll be writing the body for this abstract. Okay. So for that reason, I have created this employee service IMPL class. And in this class, I've included this employee repo. Okay. So because I need to save the database using the, I need to save or I need to find by ID or find from the database and delete it. Those all operations are coming from this GPA repository. So all the methods will be coming here. Okay. So because of that reason, I need to create the object of that employee repo implementation. So you need not to create the object. The Spring Boot only will take care of the creation of the object using auto array. Okay. So dependency injection will be done to this service IMPL class. Then in the create employee, I am doing the create employee. Create employee, the request will be coming in the form of employee DTO, right? So I need to map it up to employee entity. Then I'm using just one method, that is save method, to save the employee into the database. Okay, to save the data into the database, I'm using just the save method, and then I'm converting the response. I need to convert into DTO again, right? So for that reason, I'm using the predefined method. that is map to employee detail, which I have written inside your mapper package. So like that, I'm doing up the create employee. Okay. Then get employee by ID. That ID I'm taking as a parameter, and then this is again a predefined method from your JP repository, find by ID, taking the ID parameter. If ID is there, it will return that employee object. Otherwise, it should throw me that. Otherwise, it should throw me this was not found exception. Employee does not exist with the ID, given ID. Like that, you can pass it up as. Okay, employee does not exist with the given ID. So then again, I'm converting. If employee is there only, it will return me. I'm converting it to employee DTO. So basically, it will give in the entity format. I need to convert it into employee DTO. Okay. Then get all employees. DTO is optional, but it's always a good practice to maintain the DTO classes. Okay, it's always a good practice to maintain the DTO classes. So definitely, because you will not have any disturbance with the entity classes. If you are having your DTO classes, you can do anything with your DTO classes. But any other extra logic, serialization logic also you can be writing inside your DTO classes. But in employee entity classes, you should not write any other logic other than the entity kind of columns kind of logic. Other than that, you cannot write any other logic. So because of that reason only, I need an employee DTO class. Okay. So this is your employee by ID. Then get all employees. So I have a method that is find all method. So that will give me a list of employees that only I'm returning in the form of stream format. If you can see here, I'm converting it into stream. Then I'm mapping each and every employee. I'm converting into DTO, and then I'm giving it as a list of employees. Okay, this is your stream. So what I'm doing, I'm converting it to stream, and then I'm using one map method, which will convert each and every employee entity. That basically, if 10 employees are there, those 10 employees will be getting up, right? So for that reason, I need to convert each and every employee to DTO, and then I'm converting it to a list of one. Okay, then update employee. You can see, I'm finding it by ID. The employee is there already. Or else it should throw me this was not found exception. Otherwise, it should update it accordingly, and then it should convert into employee DTO. Okay, then delete employee by ID. Again, the same thing. If the employee is there, it will give me the object. I will be deleting it by using delete by ID method. That is again coming from the JPO repositories. If that ID is not there, it should throw me new resource not found exception. So these are all the service methods that are there inside your employee service IAML class. Okay. Okay. Then you have your controller package here. So basically, the controller is the main gate for all your requests. Right? This controller only will call your service methods accordingly. Right? So you take the request, the URL paths, then only the specific method will be invoked. Right? On the top of it, what I'm writing, REST controller I'm writing. I'm also going with the allocs constructor. I'm also going with the request mapping here. So request mapping in the sense, I should give the IP address, localhost colon 8080 where the server is running. And then I should give this URL. When I give this URL only, this employee controller will be invoked. Because there will be many controllers. Yesterday you have seen, we have our address controller, we have our category controller, many controllers have written. Here there is only one controller, but the thing is there will be many controllers. So which URL should be invoking which class? We should mention it up first itself. So because of that reason, I'm going with the request mapping annotation here. Okay. Then I'm including the employee service object here. So basically that reference here, so that this implementation class will be created by the controller. The implementation object will be created automatically. And then what I am doing, I'm creating all the methods. The same methods what are there inside your employee service IMPL. What methods are there? Employee service. These all methods I'll be creating again inside your controller class as well with every annotation. So what I'm doing in the starting, I'm writing create employee. On the top of it, I'm doing the post mapping. Post mapping in the sense, if you wanted to save into the data, save the data into database, you should go with this post mapping annotation, post request, basically. Okay. Then the request body, in the JSON format, I'll be sending the whole data. What is the data I'll be sending? I'll be sending first name, last name, email. I can also send ID if you want. But ID is auto-generated already, so need not to send. That is optional, but first name, last name, Like this only you should send it in the JSON format from your postman, okay, or from your front end as well. So the request will be coming here, then I am calling the service methods accordingly, then I am passing response entity. So why I should pass response entity? This response entity class will hold all the body or status of your response or any exceptions. Those all things we can handle using the response entity. This is again coming from your Spring framework. You can see all the methods will be there inside your response entity. Right, toString method, and if you can see status method, like I can show directly there itself. So if you can see, all these methods will be there inside your response entity. Okay, you can attach anything. Then if it is success, it will be given 200 status. Okay, then deleted successfully, the same delete method I am calling. I'm taking path variable here. So I need to pass ID, right? So slash ID I'll be passing. So what I'll be passing? Slash API slash employees slash ID. Okay, slash ID in the sense slash 101 or 102, like that. I can pass it at the ID of your employee. Okay, then delete employee by ID also same, update employee is also same, and get mapping. Get mapping will give all the get employees. So like that, I'm calling all these controller methods by the URL. Okay, now we will execute it fast. Yesterday I asked you to download your Postman, right? How many of you have done that? Postman. How many of you have done that? Okay. So why I have asked you to download that Postman means, so Postman is a, like, see, in a team, in a project team, you'll have your front-end developers, you'll have your back-end developers separate. Okay. So you'll have a agile methodology, means the front-end developers will work parallelly with the back-end developers as well. So at the same time, front-end developers will work on the same website. The back-end developers will also work on the same website. So in that case, if suppose your back-end is ready, your backend is ready, but your front end is not ready. Front end is not ready. Then what you need to do, sir? How to test your APS, sir? Whether the data you're getting, whether you are saving into a database, how to test your APS, sir? Okay, if it is a get mapping, I can directly call this URL. I'll be getting it over the browser as well. But if it is a post mapping or delete mapping or your put mapping, I need to I will not be able to do it in your browser. Front end is not there. So in that case, they have created one tool. The Postman company have created one tool, that is Postman, to test your REST APIs. Okay, to test your one editor they have given to test your REST APIs, to test your backend REST APIs to the fullest. Okay, the fullest. So in the industry also they will use the same Postman tool itself. So this Postman tool contains nothing. It is like you will be able to test your API, REST APIs basically. Test your backend REST APIs. Okay, whether your code is working or not, or whether your REST APIs are being correctly or not. They are accepting the request correctly or not, or they are sending the response in a good format or not. Like that, everything you can check it from the backend, and then you can give the tested backend application to your front end team, so that they will test it. They will do the whole testing, regression testing, and your integration testing. They will do from their end. But the thing is, the Postman testing or JUnit testing you need to do from your as a backend developer. Okay, so basically this is your Postman tool. So this is your UI of your Postman tool. Once you have opened the Postman tool, you'll be getting like this the UI. And here you'll be having all the endpoints in the URL. Before this URL tab, you'll be having all the endpoints. Like you can choose your endpoint accordingly. So now what I will be doing, I will run this app. So how to run this Spring Boot app? Directly you can type. You can go to the application main class, public static environment, run as Java applications. Okay, run as Java application itself. When you run the Java application, immediately if you see on the console, okay, immediately if you see on the console, see Spring 3.4.4 is running, Spring Boot 3.4.4. This beautiful sticker will be coming. And then if you can see on this, let's see, You can see the console as well. To do the console reading as well. Console reading is very important, guys. In your enterprise level, in real world project development, console reading is very important because all the errors you will be able to see it here from here itself. You log all the errors in the console itself. So what error has occurred, or what function has failed, what exception has occurred, in which line the exception has occurred, everything you can log it on your console. So whether a database has started or not, whether server has started or not. Okay. So what it is telling, started application using Java 21.0.3, no active profiles. Okay. Like bootstrapping Spring data JPA repositories in default mode, and see data repository scanning, and Tomcat server. I said you yesterday, right? Tomcat server by default it will be invoking. There will be embedded Tomcat server in your Spring Boot project. So it has started the Tomcat server as well. The default port, that is 8080, and starting service, starting servlet engine, and starting your data source as well. Hickory pools, the connection pools, and then if you can see the database URLs, it has invoked the database version and your isolation level. All these things they have invoked, and they have also invoked the persistence API related to your Hibernate, MySQL direct also it has invoked. Okay, then it has started the application in 2020.80881 seconds, 28 seconds. Okay, then it is running on port number 8080. It is telling. Okay, now what I'll be doing, I'll be moving to your Google Chrome itself starting. Okay, so here what you need to call localhost colon 8080 slash 8080 slash. So what is the URL? You need to follow this URL. Okay, for invoking your controller. What is the URL of your controller? It is slash API slash employees. Right, that only you'll be putting up here, slash employee slash employees. Okay, which endpoint like this in browser you can only invoke one endpoint, that is your get endpoint. So get endpoint is what you are having. You are having get employee by ID as well as only get mapping as well for getting all your employees. Like this, no URL is there here. So only get mapping is there. So directly I can click on enter. Okay, directly I can click on enter. If you can see, it is telling no data is there. No data is there. And if you can see in your database as well, it will be creating automatically. My database I have created is in the application.properties. If you see, my database I have created is EMS. Okay, the database, the credentials will be giving up here in this application.properties. Okay, yesterday I have discussed. So the database is EMS. So see here, I am using the TMS database itself, and then show tables. See here, it has created two tables here, employee and employees. Now what I am doing, I'm going with the employees table. Going with the employees table. Now if you can see, the employees table is null. The employees table is null, nothing data is there. Okay. So now what I'll be doing, I'll go to your Postman. I will add the data into this table. I will add the data into this table. So for that reason, what you need to do, you need to go with the post request. You cannot add the data into your table using your browser. You need to definitely use a Postman. Okay. So you'll be going with this post request and localhost colon the same URL API slash employees. That is only the URL right here in your controller as well. Here in your controller, where is your controller? Controller in your controller as well. What is the URL? It is slash API slash employees. And what is the get mapping? What is your post mapping? Nothing URL is there here. Yes, nothing URL is there here. So because of that reason, I'm going with the slash API slash employees. Right? Then what you need to do, you need to pass all the data. You need to go here to the body part. You need to click on raw here. Okay. You need to pass the JSON object. Okay. Within the curly braces, you need to pass the JSON object, that is first name, last name, and email. So first name, something I am giving it as Nirav. Okay. Nirav. I'm giving it as Nirav. And the last name as, what is the last name of Nirav? Otagiri. Okay. Then I am typing the email as well, something. Nirav 3. Okay. Now you see, I'm sending the request. Okay, I'm doing the post request here, and if you can see here, you are getting employees. Okay, I need to remove this slash. Slash should not be there because you see here, how I will work without slash only, right? So like that here also in your backend API as well, there is no slash. Okay, I need to remove the slash, and if you can send this request, see here, you are getting 201 created. Okay, the request is success, and you are able to see the response as well that is being created. And if you can see in the database as well, you can see in the database as well, see the data is being created. Email ID, first name, last name, ID. The database has been created. And if you can check now, get all your employees. See, you get all the data here. Okay. In the website, you'll be able to, like in the browser only, you'll be directly able to see that. If you wanted to see in the Postman as well, directly go with the GET request and the same URL, right? Again. So directly you can click on enter. Then you'll be getting the response here in the array format. Okay, all the response like that. How you're getting on the browser, like that only you'll get it up here. Okay, like that only you'll get it. The JSON response basically. This JSON response only you'll be passing it to the front end part. Okay. Then suppose I wanted to go with the, I will pass another student name, another employee name. I will choose Vidyasri TS. Okay, so Vidyasri TS. Last name as TS. Then here I'm writing something. Okay. Now I'm passing the second employee post request. So I'm doing the post request, and then if you can see over here, the ID has been added. ID 2, the first name, last name, and your email. Okay, so that is been added. And then if you can see, go with the GET request, or if you can see in the browser as well. Okay, there are 2 employees added. The database as well, there are 2 employees added. Okay, so this is your GET and post request. And if I go with the delete request, what is the delete request URL? /API/employees. And for delete request, delete mapping, this method will be called when I give this request. So what it is, /employee, I need to pass a path variable, the ID of the employee. Okay, in the path. Okay, so what I'll be doing, /API/employees. What is ID of, I wanted to delete ID of Vidya only. I wanted to delete Vidya itself. So what is ID of Vidya? It is 1 or 2, right? So that I'll be passing up here with the delete request. Okay, so am I clear until this point? Yes, point. Am I clear until this point? Yes. Yes, I passed 102 only, right? The ID of the employee is 2, right? Okay. The ID of the employee is 2, right? Yes, yes. Correct, Mohammed. Thanks for correcting. Okay, so the ID of the employee is 2, right? That one I should be passing. Okay. So that one I should be passing. So one moment. Inaudible? Okay. So basically, what I am doing here, so this is an ID, right? ID is ID of your Vidya is 2. Okay. So what I am doing, I wanted to delete that ID. So I'm giving it as 2 here, and then I'm going with the delete request here. And then if you can see, I'm sending the request here. So if you can see, the response is deleted successfully because in your controller method, I pass the response as deleted successfully. So because of that reason, you are getting your deleted successfully on the postman as. Okay, now if you can see the get request, see the Vidya is deleted, only the Nirav is there. Okay, so this is nothing but your delete request. And then if you wanted to update as well, you can go with the update request as well. So put then what is the controller method here for your update request, for your put request? Basically put, you need to pass the ID again. Okay. So for that reason, I'll be passing the ID of 1, and I will be changing. I will take this thing. I'll be going to be changing the credential, change the data of that Nirav, right? I think this is not needed. Okay, I'm doing it over here. And then Nirav, I'm changing it to something like the email is 323. Okay. And the last name also I'm changing it to only. Okay. So now if you can see, I will be running the request here. And if you can see, the request is run successfully. And then if you can see on the thing, you'll be able to see it over it. ID is 1, Nirav, and it is Kota. And I've changed it from Nirav 3 to Nirav 323 at the gmail.com. Okay, so like this, I can go with the update request as well, your put mapping request as well, or your put request as well, along with the put inside your postman. Okay, so am I clear until this point? Yes, testing your APIs, testing your REST APIs is clear. Yes, okay. So now what I will be doing, am I clear, Mohammed? Am I clear, Vidya? Ifra? Anuradha? Yes, clear? So this is your backend Spring Boot part. Okay. Now what I'll be doing, I will jump into the front-end part now. Okay. For this application, I will explain. Before that, I'll be going with the JavaScript concepts. Okay. I'll be going with the JavaScript concepts. Then I will jump into React concepts, and then I will come at 8:30 to the front end of your EMS application. Okay. So that it will be clear to you as well. Okay. So what I will be doing, I will be moving here. Can I get a quick response in the chat box? What is JavaScript? What is JavaScript? So HTML, yesterday we discussed, that is for your structuring your website. CSS, you are told styling. Okay. And tell me, what is JavaScript? Why JavaScript is used? So JavaScript is a coding language that makes websites dynamic. Correct? Correct, Nirav. Also supports animation. Correct? Correct. Any other answers? Any other answers? Any other answers? So basically, like if I move here, move to this website. This is your website. Okay, you have your black color in the background. Background color of your website is black, and you have your logo here, and you have your Spring initializer. This is also a logo, and you have your project here. Okay, this structure is there. The structure is there, and you have done the added the CSS for the formatting as well, and for your borders or your colors. You have added the CSS. Fine. You have created these buttons as well, and when I hover on this button, you are getting this white color. You have set it up the CSS, but how the functionality will come for this? How it will be a live website? How it will be a live website? Can you tell how this will be a live website? How this website will have a life? How this website will have a life? Host in the sense, like you should be having your URL. You should be having your URL and the server that the code will be deployed, so that you'll be getting, when you click on this URL and when you enter into this URL, you'll be getting this website. Fine. But the thing is, how you can give the life to this website. My question is, how you can give this life to the website? How you can give the life to the website? Okay, JavaScript is a versatile, dynamically typed scripting language, primarily used for creating interactive websites. Okay. Okay. Using JavaScript. Correct, Tina. Very good. Using JavaScript. So basically, how you can give the life to it? When you click on these buttons only, right? When some action is happening only, you can give the life to this website, right? So when you click on this add dependency button, some action is happening. Some action is happening. You're also feeling something. Something is added. And that's when the user is feeling something from his end, then only some action has happened, and then only there is a life for this website, right? Otherwise, when action is not happening, or when the user is not able to get anything from that website, then out, right? So you can give the life or behavior to the website basically using your JavaScript. So when I click on this button, some action is happening. When I click on this buttons, or when I click on this, some dynamically the content is coming over. Yes. So like this, the behavior to the website can be given by your JavaScript. Okay. So basically, this JavaScript helps in giving the behavior to your website, or to dynamic functionality to your website. Okay. So to add behavior or to add dynamic functionality to the website, I'll be going with the JavaScript. So basically, I'll be going. This JavaScript is a scripting language. Okay. So for that reason, to integrate the scripting language inside your HTML, I should be going with one tag, that is script tag. Okay. So inside this script tag, you can write the JavaScript code. Okay. This script tag you can include either in head section of your HTML, or either on your body section of your HTML. Okay. At the end of your, but basically I prefer, any developer prefers, any real developer prefers putting this JavaScript at the end of your body tag. That is the best practice. End of your body tag, because what will happen means at the end of your body tag, because what will happen is if you mention it in the section itself, because what is execution order is of your HTML page? What is execution order? HTML opening, HTML closing, and then you will have your head section here. You will have your body section here, right? So first body section will be executed, or head section will be executed. Body or head? Body or head? Which section will be executed? Head section, right? But in head section, you'll be writing your tags, the structured tags, and the content you'll be writing inside your head section. content you will be writing inside your head section? No, right? You'll be writing inside your body section. Inside your body section. But if you write the script inside your head section, what will happen? The script will be loaded first, and then the body will be loaded. Then the content will be loaded. Then it will create some mischievous behavior, right? Some odd behavior for your website, right? Because for whom you are giving the behavior, for whom you are giving the dynamic functionality, your HTML only, for your HTML only, for your content only, you are giving the dynamic functionality or your dynamic functionality or your behavior to them, right? So that you can interactive behavior you're giving for your HTML content itself. So, but if you write the script tag inside head section, what will happen? The script will load first, the behavior load will load first, and then the structure will be created. Is it correct? So, to get that odd behavior not done in your website, I should be going with the JavaScript inside your body section. It's at the end of your body section. Okay, in the body tag, after the content is loaded, please write your script file or script tags. Okay, if you wanted to write your external script file, you can go with the script source is equal to, you'll be writing your source file name, and then you'll be giving the script. Okay, closing script. Okay, so I'm asking you to install your VS Code, right? Yes. So this is the main editor for your for your front-end logic. If you wanted it, this is the best editor. So what I'll be doing, I will be creating one folder here. Okay, some JS. So if you wanted to create the folder, directly you can click on this and you can create the folder. First you'll be writing. First you'll be getting your welcome page here. Directly close that welcome page and either open some workspace, like some folder, you open it up, and then inside that folder you can create multiple folders. Like your workspace, one workspace you create, and you import that folder using this file section. Okay, open folder. Okay, then you can open that folder up, and then inside that folder you can create multiple folders. Okay, so now what I'll be doing, I will rename this file, so JS practice. Okay, so inside this JS practice, I'll be going with the new file, that is index.html. Index.html. So HTML file, I'll be writing it up. Okay, then inside this, I'll be writing, I'll be creating one another file as well. That is script.js file, which is your JavaScript file. You should be having your JS extension. Okay, script.js file. Then I'll be linking this JS file here inside your body section. Okay, so that you can see it on the website. So script source is equal to script.js. Okay, that is fine. I'm writing something as well here. H1, some welcome. Okay, then what I'll be doing, I will go here to revealing file explorer. Then you can see this file. It will be printing welcome on the screen. Right, welcome on the screen. Fine. Then I'll be creating one button as well. Okay, button as well. And for this button, I'll be going with the on-click tag. Okay, I'll be going with the on-click. And this on-click should call something like change message or something. Okay, I'll be doing that. Script.js file. I'll be writing the change message function. Okay, functions will be writing like this. That your JavaScript change message. Okay. So, yeah. They'll be writing. I'll be going with the. You wanted to write like that, also you can create for this h1 tag. I'll be going with the ID tag something. Okay, ID tag something like message. Okay, that's the script.js file. That's the script.js file. I'll be writing document dot get element by ID of message is dot inner HTML is equal to, I'm changing it to allowed. Okay, now this semicolon is optional inside your JavaScript. If you wanted to separate the lines, definitely semicolon is needed. But the thing is, it is optional. And if you can see here, this welcome itself, and when I click on the button, I will be writing something for a button as well. Change button. Change in message button. Okay. So now if you can see, if I click on change a message, some action is happening. From welcome to you're getting allowed. Right? From welcome to you're getting your allowed. And then you can see you're getting some functionality you're adding. Some action is happening when you're clicking on the button, or when some styles you can change. So that all behavior you can do it from the JavaScript. But the thing is how the JavaScript works. Before I explain the JavaScript. So how the JavaScript works, if you ask me. So JavaScript works totally based on the DOM model. Okay, totally based on the DOM model, that is document object model. Okay, document object model. So basically, what do you know? You know about this DOM? You know about this DOM? Did you know about this DOM? DOM tree? So basically, you're writing your HTML, right? You will be writing your HTML. So I will explain. So you'll be writing this HTML structure, right? HTML, opening tag, HTML, closing tag, head, body, and then footer, or inside that body, you'll be writing H1 tag, H2 tag, H3 tag. So how the DOM tree will be constructed? Every structure that you create, because this browser, this Google Chrome browser or Mozilla Firefox browser understands only this tree, only this document object model tree. So based on this tree only, it will render your website. It will render your website. So basically, every HTML file that you write or every HTML code that you write, that will be converted into DOM tree. That will be converted into basically, it will not understand your tags and it will not understand your English. Only the DOM tree only the browser will understand. So basically, this your browser, what it do means everything that that you deploy, once you're going your file explorer, you're opening that file. You're opening this file, index.html file. Immediately when you're loading that file, when it is rendering, it will immediately convert into backend into DOM tree. Okay, so basically in DOM tree, in the sense every HTML element, it will be converted into like this. So you'll have your inside HTML. What you'll be adding? All the inner tags will be coming in as child to the parent tag. Okay, so you'll have your HTML, and then inside the HTML you have the header tag, you have the body tag. Right? You have your body tag, and inside this body tag, you will have your H1 tag, you will have your H2 tag, you will have your script2 tag. So like that, everything will be there, right? So like that, everything will be there. And inside this body, all again, for if you're writing footer, you'll have your footer tag. Suppose in this H1 tag, you're again creating some other H2 tag or L1 LI tag. So like this, for everything inside this LI tag, again you are creating like UL tag, something. All the things will be created in the form of a DOM tree. Okay, all the things will be created in the form of, it will be rendered in the form of a DOM tree. Then only you'll be able to see it in the browser. The layout you will be able to see in the browser. Okay, so that is nothing but your DOM tree. So JavaScript, the main powerful functionality is to manipulate the DOM. It can manipulate the DOM. Means I am manipulated here, right? So I am manipulated here, right? So I manipulated what I manipulated. See, this H1 tag, initially the message is welcome. But when I click on the button, what I am telling, I'm telling my JavaScript to change the message, to call this change message function. And what I am doing inside the change message function, I'm taking the main object, that is document. Okay, for any website you take, suppose this website only I will show it up. I will show this website. Inspect. You go to your developer tools, and then and if you can see the console here, I'll be typing some document. Okay, I'll be typing some document here in the console. So this document is a main object, main header. See, when I'm selecting the document, the whole website has been selected. Then if you can see the document here, the whole website will be giving, all the tags will be there inside the document itself. Right? So all the tags will be there inside the document itself. The document is the main one. And then inside the document, you'll have the properties to get it up accordingly. So see how I'm getting that. Get element by ID. I've kept some ID here. So for that reason, I'm getting it from the ID, this message, and I'm changing the HTML part. I'm changing the inner HTML part. Okay, from welcome to hello world. Means I am manipulating this HTML. I'm manipulating the structure of your website using this JavaScript code. So that is the power of your JavaScript. But what is the disadvantage if you ask me? You understood about DOM, right? How DOM manipulation is done inside your JavaScript. Yes? You understood, right? Yes. So basically, the main power of your JavaScript is DOM manipulation. So that is why only JavaScript became too popular, and it is currently also too popular because of this DOM manipulation. I can change HTML, I can change CSS, etc. All these things I can do with JavaScript also. Okay, I can add the behavior. That is only nothing but your behavior, something action you're doing using the DOM manipulation. But the thing is, the main disadvantage of your JavaScript is, suppose the main disadvantage. Can you tell the disadvantage of JavaScript? Advantage I have told, but can you tell the main disadvantage of JavaScript? Divya or Nirav? Tina? What is the disadvantage of JavaScript? Hard to implement, correct? It is hard to implement. So if you're writing this DOM manipulation code for simple to-do application also, you need to write some around 50 to 60 lines of using DOM manipulation. If you are not using HTML and you're directly creating the structure, CSS, all the things you're creating using JavaScript also you can create. But you should have the basic structure of your HTML like this. The basic structure should be there. But the thing is, you should be linking that JavaScript file here itself. But you will be not writing, if you are not writing any tags, then definitely you should be hard to implement. You should write some normal application, simple application also. You should write 50 to 60 lines of code using DOM manipulation itself. And the second disadvantage is, as you said, hard to debug. When many lines are there, then it is difficult to debug only, right? So see, that's why only in Java also we are divided into multiple layers for understanding only, for simple debugging process only. Right? For that only I'm doing all the techniques. Otherwise, if I do just in the main application, inside your public static environment, if I write all this code, what will happen? It will be hard to debug. Right? When there are more lines of code in the same file, then it will definitely hard to debug. I need to definitely divide it up. So only I've divided it up into multiple layers here. Right? I can write it up the whole code in one main method itself, in one class itself. But I don't want to do that. Right? Because the debugging should be easier for the programmer or for the developer or for the user as well. For me, if there is an issue, I should be able to find it in within 5 seconds or 6 seconds. Otherwise, the application downtime will increase. There is an issue and the user will face difficulty, right? So next one is hard to debug because of these heavy lines of code. And the major disadvantage you are missing, anyone can tell that? The major disadvantage. The major disadvantage is DOM updations for each and every change. For each and every change in the DOM updations, okay, for each and every change that you're doing in the DOM, it will construct the tree again and again. DOM building basically. DOM rebuilding. So in 2010 or 2012, how the websites used to be, they used to be like this, fast. They used to be too fast like this. Once you open only, it is opening, or if you do any actions. The Flipkart also, it has so many products, but it will load it up in like fraction of seconds, right? How that is happening now in 2020 onwards, but why it is not happened in the 2010-12? Because of this major disadvantage of JavaScript only, that is DOM rebuilding. Okay, DOM rebuilding. The major disadvantage of JavaScript is this one. So why means, so suppose in H1 tag, suppose in H1 tag, what I am doing, I am changing the text in JavaScript to hello world here, right? To hello world here. From welcome to hello world, I am changing. From welcome to hello world, I am changing. But what it will do, you know, it will not update that hello world part only in the DOM tree. It will not update that hello world part only in the DOM tree. What it will do means it will start from the starting again. It will update it will create the HTML tag again. It will create the heading tag again. It will create the footer tag again. It will create the body tag again. Then it will get the H1 tag again, H2 tag again, script tag again. Then inside the H1 tag, it will change to hello world. So this all reconstructing will be done. So tell me one thing, guys. Like either like building an house is easier, or destroying it and building a house is easier. Suppose you want one another room to construct, or one another floor to construct inside your house. Okay, for your house, you wanted to construct some 2 floors are there. You wanted to construct your 3rd floor. Okay, you will construct by building only that floor, or you will construct from starting again 0, 1, 2, 3. You'll construct all the floors again. Which is easier? Constructing only the 3rd floor is easier, or constructing all the floors is easier? Can I get a quick answer? Which is easier? Constructing a single floor is easier than rebuilding the whole floor, right? That will be too costly process as the website creation also, because of this JavaScript, that is only happening. Because of this JavaScript, that is only happening. For every minute change inside your HTML also, it will reconstruct the DOM tree from starting. For every updation, it will reconstruct the DOM tree from starting. It will destroy the old tree. Because of that reason only, the website used to load very slow in your 2010s or 2010 to almost 2014 or 15. The website used to be too slow at that time because they used to use only JavaScript. Okay, but this disadvantage, what is DOM rebuilding, is now being how they are running fast now in 2025. They are also using the same JavaScript. Any website should use HTML only the front end, CSS only in the front end, and JS only in the front end, because the browser understands only these languages. But now how they are faster means they came up with the framework or your libraries. I can go with the React library, that is ReactJS. In ReactJS, what will happen means for every change that you make, DOM rebuilding will not happen. Just it will do the DOM updation. That's wherever the updation has occurred, at that it will do the updation. Okay. So because of that only, now ReactJS is popular, and because of that only, the websites are also loading fast. Okay, the main advantage of ReactJS is DOM updation, which works based on the virtual DOM. So coming back to your ReactJS now. So I am skipping the features, guys, of your JavaScript language syntax. So I will be sharing this JavaScript ES6 features code. So directly the theory, like you'll be getting the code as well. You'll be rating the theory as well. All the concepts along with the theory, the code as well in this notes. Please read it out once after. So I'm in short of time. So because of that, I'm not going into the concepts of JavaScript, the code of JavaScript for now. I'm going directly into the React.js. Okay. So once go through the notes, once after the class, if you go through the notes, you'll be clear with the JavaScript. Okay. Okay, like for now on, please concentrate on the React.js. Then I will discuss the React Frontend code for your employee management. Okay, so React.js works is initially been implemented or used by Facebook community. Okay, inside the Facebook company, they used to use this React.js library for their applications. But afterwards, they have made it as open source since the React.js is powerful in virtual DOM. It has become, the performance of the website has increased totally because of this virtual. So how does virtual DOM works if you ask me? Virtual DOM works if you ask me. See this image here. You can see this image here. So this is your actual DOM. Okay. So actual DOM will be created by your browser itself. Okay, from your HTML context or from your JavaScript construct. So div h1 and h2 are there in the actual DOM. And then what I am doing in React.js, I'm adding the another tag that is h3. H3 tag I'm adding. So immediately in your React.js code, I'm adding h3. Initially h1 and h2 are there. Now I'm adding the h3 tag. So in JavaScript, what will happen when you add the h3 tag? Again, it will construct a div tag. It will destroy the old DOM, old actual DOM, and it will reconstruct the actual DOM again. So div, h1, h2, h3 it will add. But in React.js, if you add the code, once you are adding h3 only, what it will do means it will initially add it to the new virtual DOM. Okay. Then this new virtual DOM, it will reconstruct here. The virtual DOM, it will reconstruct. Why I'm calling it as virtual? What is virtual, guys? Virtual in the sense which is not present, right? Which is not present. So which is not present, it is in the air or somewhere. We are just assuming the memory is not present. In technical terms, if you ask me, the memory of your memory of your code is not allocated. So it is not physical, right? So this DOM tree will be connected, will be constructed virtually. And when you are adding h3 tag here, the DOM tree will be reconstructed here virtually. But because it is constructing virtually, it will not affect the website performance. So then what will happen once the new virtual DOM is created, it will compare with the old virtual DOM ones. We'll compare with the old virtual DOM. This is your virtual DOM inside your React.js, right? So it will compare with this old virtual DOM. The new virtual DOM is being compared with old virtual DOM. So what is the change it will observe? The change is only this h3 tag. So what it will do now, this h3 tag only it will give to the actual DOM. Whatever changes you are doing here in your React.js code, it will be added first to the virtual DOM itself. It will be added first to the virtual DOM. And when you wanted to render it on the website, the final rendering will be done through the actual DOM. Okay. When you wanted to render, after all the changes, you wanted to render the website how it is looking. So if you wanted to see what it will do, it will compare with the old virtual DOM and it will add this h3 tag to the actual DOM. Now only one time the rendering will be done. Multiple times will not be done. So multiple times the rendering won't be done. So what will happen? H3, suppose h3, h4, h5, h6 I am adding. 4 tags I am adding. h5 tags. Look, h3, h4, h5. 3 tags I am adding at a time. Okay. So what will happen for every change? It will be added in the virtual DOM itself. The rendering will happen. But the thing is, the final rendering only it will give to the actual DOM and only for one time. So basically, if you're using only JavaScript, what will happen? How many times the rendering will happen? For 3 times, right? The rendering will happen for 3 times inside your actual DOM. But now only for one time the rendering will happen. All the 3 times rendering will be happening inside your virtual DOM itself. Okay, all the 3 times the rendering will be happening inside your virtual DOM itself. Am I clear until this point? Yes. So this is the power of your React.js. So every change that you make will be attached first to your virtual DOM. It will not be added directly to the actual DOM, because if you add it to the actual DOM, again it will destroy that old actual DOM. It will reconstruct from starting. But now what is happening? All the changes it will supply to the at a time. At a time it will supply h3, h4, h5. All the changes it will supply to this actual DOM, and then actual DOM will be rendered from only one time. So because of this, the performance of the website is increased. The performance of your website is increased. Am I clear until this point? Yes. So the first advantage of your ReactJS is a library basically. So we'll have all the utility components inside the ReactJS thing. Like that is a library. You need to download it inside your project, okay, from the internet. The second advantage is the first advantage is virtual DOM. The second advantage is using ReactJS, you will be able to create the single page application. Okay, single page applications are component based applications. Component based applications. Basically, the websites are two types. One is the web applications or websites are two types. One is single page applications, one is multi-page applications. Okay, so single page application in the sense every action you do, it will be only one page will be loaded, the one main page will be loaded, and every action will be doing the same in the request will be in the same page. It will not be going to the other page. All the actions will be in the same page. But if you go with the multi-page application, for every action you do, for every click you do, it will be going to the new page. It will be going to the new page again. It will be going to the new page for every click. So that is nothing but your multi-page application. So if you can open your Amazon, can you tell Amazon is a multi-page application or a single-page application? Multi-page application or a single-page application? Correct. Multi-page application. See, when I'm clicking on this, see it is going to the new page. It is opening a new page. Then if I'm clicking on this, see it is loading. It is loading on the top and it is opening a new page. You see, it is opening a new page. And then if I open on another page, on this website, you see it is going to a new page. So this is a multi-page applications. Okay, so it contains more data, right? So more number of products, more data it contains, multiple data it contains, some lakhs of products it will be contained. Yes. So because of that reason, definitely multi-page application is the only choice. Okay, so because of that only they have moved to multi-page approaches. Okay, because we should have a handling part ready and we should have a debugging style ready, right? In that case, large websites, multi-page application is only the best option, but it contains some 50% of your Amazon data. In that case, the single page application is visible. If you go to your Netflix, are you familiar with your Netflix? Yes. If you go to your Netflix, the famous example. Then if you can see here, this is all single page. Like if you can see, the action will be happening over here. You can open this. See, on the same page, it is loading up the other tab. And if you can see the other tab, it is open. Or if you can see here only, you are able to see the actions. Then we can see get started also. It will open here itself, and if you can see the sign in as well, it will open. It is going to a new page here. Okay, some parts will be going to the new page. Some parts will be going to the new page for some parts. But the thing is, for other parts, for maximum parts, it is in the single page itself. So like that is nothing but a single page. So this Netflix is developed using ReactJS. Okay, so like this, the single page applications you can develop using the fast rendering. The same page you can do it using ReactJS. Okay, the first advantage is virtual DOM and single page application, and you have a huge community as well. If you're stuck somewhere, you'll be able to get it up as well. So this ReactJS works on component-based architecture. Okay, component-based architecture. So everything that you see in your Netflix. So this is one component. This logo is one component. This part is one component. This part is one component, and this part is one component. This part is one component. Like that, everything is a component here. So everything is a component here. Why components? If suppose individual components, these are like how you in the case of multi-threading, how there are independent threads. In the same way, there will be multiple components here. So if suppose this component is not loaded, this component will load. I can add different styling to this. I can add different. I can reuse the same components again and again. I can add different stylings. So each website, the front end part is loaded into multiple parts, like a component. So each part I will call it as component. Okay. So your ReactJS and Angular, works based on the component-based architecture. So there were only two components were there basically: class-based components, functional-based components. Okay, class-based components, functional-based components. So in class-based components, you'll be creating a class. Okay, you'll be creating a class using the render method. You will render the components, you will render all your dynamic code on your screen, dynamic content on your screen. And in your function-based components, you will be rendering using the return method, like a normal JavaScript function. Normal JavaScript function. And the other advantage of ReactJS means you can write your JSX code as well. Means inside the JavaScript, anytime inside the JavaScript, anytime you have written your HTML code inside your JavaScript. If you are familiar with JavaScript, can you tell? Anytime you have written your inside your normal JavaScript file, normal JS file, you have written your HTML code. Is that possible? Like inside this file, is it possible to write the HTML code? Is that possible? No, right? It is not possible to write your HTML code. But if you are going with the React.js, definitely you can write the HTML code. So that is only I will call it as example. Inside the JS code, you will directly imbibe HTML. You will directly embed HTML. So that is only I will call it as JSX. You can write directly the JSX code with the help of React.js packages. Okay, that is another advantage. Okay, so now how to create? Okay, sir, you have told about all the advantages of React.js, but how to create the project, sir? So how to create the project, if you ask me, there are like two ways are there to create your project. First one is you can go with the npx, you can go with create React app. First, you need to, inside your terminal, you should open your terminal here. Okay, inside your command prompt or inside your directly, if you go here, directly if you go here, if you open your new terminal here, I've opened already new terminal. So inside this new terminal, you can type npx create React app. Okay, npx create React app, then create React app, your project name. Then all the libraries will be downloaded from the internet. Okay, from your first, you need to download Node.js. Sorry to forgot this. You need to download Node.js to work with React.js. You need to download this Node.js package. Okay, Node.js installer you need to do. This Node.js packages you need to be download. Node.js runtime you should download inside your local system. Then only you can work with either React.js or AngularJS. Why Node.js is required, service? Because until Node.js is introduced, the JavaScript is under the bars, under your jail bars, inside your browser itself. Inside your browser itself. So you cannot write JavaScript inside your VS Code also. It is not possible until Node.js is installed. You cannot run your JavaScript code inside your VS Code also. You need to run the JavaScript code only inside the browser. But from now, since Node.js is there, you can even run like your Java code inside your local system as well. Instead of browser. Instead of browser, you can run directly the JavaScript code inside your local system directly into your VS Code as well. Directly run button, you'll be able to run the JavaScript. So because of this Node.js. So to work with React.js or to work with Angular, you should have your Node.js ready inside the system. Okay. So this is about it. And then how to create your React.js project. Basically, you need to install Node.js and you need a VS Code editor and you can open up the terminal. Either you can create npx create React app, project name. Okay. This is the one way. You can give your project name some React app 1 or React application 1 or e-commerce app 1 or EMS Frontend. Like that, you can create the application here. Then you should have your internet for the starting time. Okay, you should have your internet. For the next time, you don't need that. But for the first time, you should have your internet. Okay, npx create React app. Then project name. You can download like that. Otherwise, this is another way. Okay, this is another way, that is npm install create React app -g. First you will install this utility and then create React app project. This is another of creating your React. Okay, Then you can also create, there is one white tool that is popular today in the market from last year. Using the white tool as well, you can install the React. Instead of create React app, you can also go with this white tool. So npm create white at the rate latest npm install. Why npm install means that node libraries, all the React.js libraries will be installed inside your node modules. Okay, so this is your package. Once you have typed npm create white at the rate latest, okay, space your project name, some project name, suppose EMS Frontend. If you're typing like this inside your terminal, once you click on enter, if internet is there, and once you have installed the Node.js, directly the project structure will be created from the internet, okay, directly from the internet, and then all the project structure will be running. So all the node modules folder will be like your JDK folder itself, all the node modules folder will be downloaded. Node modules folder is there only, you can run. So basically, if you're going the right approach, you'll not be able to get the node modules folder with this command directly. What you need to do means you need to write, if your node modules folder is not there, this node modules folder is a very huge folder. It will occupy some 250 MB of memory. So once you're sharing the React.js project with others also, and if I share in GitHub also, I will not share this node modules folder. Why? Because it is very like 250 MB it will take. And if you download also, it will slow down your system. But if multiple node modules folder on. So in that case, what I'll be doing, I'll be deleting this node modules folder and will be giving to you. So what you can do, you need to go to that path where you have downloaded that your project. Okay, where you have downloaded that project, you can go to that path, and then you need to type simply, like you need to go to that path means cd ems frontend. If you type it in your terminal, it will go to the same path, ems frontend, and then what you need to do, you need to type npm install. Once you type npm install, this node modules folder will be installed. Okay, whoever is sharing the like React.js project, they'll be not sharing this node modules folder with you. Okay, so you need to install it using the npm install command. Okay, so this is your node modules folder. Then this is your public folder. You don't require this public folder basically inside your white. And then the main thing is this is your white configuration.js folder where all the React.js properties are the server code. You can change it up. And this is your package.json folder. We'll have your React version in this folder. Say the React DOM version is 19. We are working with the React 19, and you have your Bootstrap installed. Axios package is also installed. React Router DOM is also installed. Any other third party other than the React basic libraries, if you want to install, you can install it directly by typing npm install React DOM, or npm install React Router DOM, or npm install Bootstrap, or npm install Axios. Okay. Then this package log.json file, in the sense it will log all the initial dependencies. Okay, then this is a main file, index.html file. This is a single page application I've told you, right? So there will be containing only one HTML file here. Okay, there will be containing only one HTML file here. And then inside this file, you will have your in the body section, div ID is equal to root element. Inside this root element only, all the code you'll be loading it up. All the code is inside your root element itself. Okay, that root element will manage it from your JS code. Okay, or JSX code. So inside the source folder, you need to write your JSX code or JS code. Then if you can see, this is a main index.css file is nothing but your main styles file, and then main.jsx file is nothing but your main, like see here it is your app component. This is your main JS file. Okay, the main JS file inside the index.html file even, you'll be loading the same main.jsx file itself. So this all code will be coming by default. This is your main.js file is a main JS file. Inside this main JS file, you'll be having your app.js. That component will be loading it up. And inside your app.js file, you'll be writing all the code. You can write your own code, or you can write all the code here itself. Otherwise, you'll be creating your own components as well, other files as well. So one file I will call it as, one JS file I will call it as one component. Okay. So if you can see, say this, I'll be starting this app. So how to start this app if you ask me? So my backend is also running, right? Okay. I will start the app now, this app. So how to start the app if you ask me? You need to type npm run dev. If you are using white, you need to type npm run dev. If you are using create React app, you should be going with the npm start. Okay, so I'm writing npm run dev here. I'm running the command npm run dev here. And then if you can see on the port number, this will run on the separate server I have told you, right? So this will be running on the separate server, that is 3000. And if you can see, if I open this URL, localhost colon 3000, follow link, then if you can see, this all code will be coming here. See, the data is coming from your database, from your backend. The same data is coming. List of employees. This is your front end, and from backend, you're getting the data full set. Okay, so if you can see that whole code, this code where it is written, sir, means your VS code, I have written it inside your components folder. Okay, this is your SS folder, you can leave it up. And this I've created two folders here, that is components folder. My user-defined components, other than the app.js file, I'll be creating inside my components folder only. That is a good practice. Then here you see list employee component. Here in this file, I'm writing all the code. And what I have done is I have created what I have done means I have created the functional component. Okay, I have created the functional component only. I'm only created the functional components here. So inside your list employee, I have created the functional component of list employee. I'm writing the arrow function here. Instead of function, I'm writing the arrow function here. Okay. Then if you go to the return tag here, inside the div tag, I'm writing all this code. Okay. So first what I'm writing h2 tag list of employees. So you can see the browser, this is your list of employees. Then what I'm doing, I'm creating a button for adding your employee. I'm creating a button. Okay, then I'm creating a table. When I on click, it will invoke this add new employee. That is fine, we'll see that. Then I'm creating a table. I'm creating a body for the table as well. So body in the sense like table, the same HTML code you'll be writing. Inside JSX, you're writing the HTML code. Because of that only, you're saving it with .jss extension as well. This is your JSX code, not JS code. Okay, because inside your HTML, inside your JS code itself, you're writing your HTML code. So this is JSX. Okay, so inside the table, you're writing TED. These all the main columns are coming. Okay, the main columns were coming here. Then you're reflecting your data ID. Okay, data here. So see employee.map, everything employee data ID, first name, last name, email, thing. So when I click on click is equal to update employee. So update employee also I'm writing up here. Okay, update employee button. Okay, so if you can see here, this data will be automatically reflected using employees.map. Okay, employees.map, each employee will be mapped up. So basically on the top, I'm writing a state. For each and every employee. For employees, I'm writing set employees. So when this, I'm using the same variables there, employees. So using the same employees variable here, for everything I'm mapping it up and I'm changing it up. Each and every button. And when I click on add button, it should go to the add new employee, right? Add new employee, and it should go to routing/add employee. See, on the when I click on add employee button, it should go to the routing tag, right? Add employee that I am mentioning up there. Okay, that I am mentioning up there. And then if you can see the routing also are mentioned in the app.js. Basically, what you will be doing inside your the best practice is always used to mention the routing inside your app.js. So when I click on slash, what it should invoke. When I click on slash employees, what it should invoke. When I click on add employee, what component it should invoke. When I click on edit employee, like this app.js file, the front end, I'll be using it as a controller file. Like how in the backend, how I created the controller class, the same in app.js file also. I'll be mentioning all the URLs here. Accordingly, for every URL, I will invoke specific files. Component in the specific files I will invoke here. So when I click on add employee, when the URL is add employee, it should go to the employee component I'm telling. So I'm opening the employee component. This is also a functional component. So here I'm returning it up. All the thing. The form I'm creating. So add employee contains your form, right? So this is the form I'm creating using the form tag and where is it? Form tag. So see, So I'm creating the inside the form tag. I'm creating this all CSS. For CSS, I'm taking it up. And then inside the form tag, I'm creating inputs. Input type is equal to text. Input type is equal to form group, form label. Then entering your last name and entering your email. Those are all form fields I'm taking. And when I'm entering something there, immediately the state should change. For that reason, I'm using this add element. On the top also, I've written add element state. Okay, use state. When I click on handle, like when I click on this email, then set email, it will be set up using the state. Then using the effect, all the things will be done automatically, dynamic. So like this, I'm creating the hooks as. Okay, so I'm creating the fields when something, when submit button, when errors are getting, suppose say, I'm adding the validation check as well. So suppose I'm not writing anything. I click on submit. See how it is getting. First name is required, last name is required, email is required, I'm getting, right? So that CSS also I'm adding it from there. So when I click on that, some errors, when I'm is invalid, it should give me errors. So like that, I'm changing it. When I click on and change, it should implement. So like that, I'm writing all the things inside your employee component. The same way, I'm creating the footer component. So for your this things, footer component, all the things will be created like this. For that, I'm writing the footer component. Then I'm creating header component, where in the header on the top of the header employee management system will be getting it. So for that, I'm creating the header component. Then list employee component we have already seen. Okay. So then, okay, sir, you have told how to create the front end part. Okay, you have to create the front end part. Okay, we'll go through it. But the thing is how to invoke the backend APIs. You in the Postman, you have invoked each and every API. This is all APIs only, right? This is in the Postman, you have invoked each and every URL to interact with the database or to make some changes accordingly. Then how to interact from front end to back end, sir. So for that, there is one library inside your React, that is Axios library. Okay, for that only I've created one component, again, separate component, employee service. That Axios library I'm using. Using this Axios library, I will be invoking the backend endpoints. And accordingly, I'll be getting the data. So list employees, create employee, get employee, these methods I'm taking it up and I'm exporting to other methods. So from other methods also I can call these methods, and then axios.get or axios.post or axios.get or axios.put. I'm taking all these things, and then get by ID or get all employees, the post, the put. I'm not mentioning the delete. I'm giving it as a task to you to implement from your side itself. Okay. So here what I'm doing, the base URL I'm taking it up, and then accordingly I am concatenating it. I'm concatenating it as well. For the base URL employee ID, I'm concatenating it as well. Okay, for your get by ID or update by ID. For these things, I'm concatenating as well. Okay. So if you can see, the base URL is this one, and from the request, I'll be getting employee object. I'll be sending it to the backend. I'll be setting into the backend to save it. For the first, the controller will be invoked, and then service method, then your repository, then the entity classes, then you'll be getting the response. Like that, I have created here as. And the get employee I have created, then the update employee I have created. So employee ID I'm attaching to the URL. Then I'm passing the employee. Okay, for this get employee, I don't require the employee. So for that reason, I'm not passing it in. So like this, I will invoke the API endpoints as well using the Axios library. Okay, am I clear until this point? How to invoke your backend APIs using Axios libraries? Yes, am I clear until this point? Is the screen not visible? Is my screen not visible? It's visible, right? Is it showing your screen?
It is visible, sir.
Okay. So please check your internet connection once. So for interacting the backend APIs, I'm going with the employee service class. I'm using the Axios library. So this Axios libraries are all the endpoints, guys. Like you can see, you have all the endpoints, patch or put or delete, all the endpoints will be having all the methods. It has all the methods. Okay. So this is about your EMS front end part. Okay. So like this, I have created. Once I will do the testing. once I will do the testing in the front end part now. Okay, I've done the postman testing. Now I will do it in the front end part. So this is reflecting, since the database only one data is there. This is reflecting okay. Now I will add the employee. When I click on add employee, it is going here. I'm adding some XLR. Okay, and the last name as XLR Tech and email as XLR@xlr.com. So see, I have added this as well. Suppose you are not giving it that at the rate. Okay, I'm not at that data part. Okay, that's fine. XLR. That validation I'm not checked in the code, I guess. Because of that reason, it is adding that. Okay, that validation you should check it for it. So like this, the employee is added, and if you see in the database as well, the employee has been added here as well. And if you can see, if you invoke the backend API also, see the employees are added. Okay, I've added the employee, and I can also update the employee from your front end. I can also update the employee. From XLR, I'm changing to some XLR institutions or XLR solutions. Okay, now if you can see, submit XLR solutions tech XLR@gmail. Okay, like this you can update as well. You can add the employee as well. You can list all the employees. You'll be able to see when you refresh as well. Okay, then you can also go using your URLs as well. You can also. Okay, so this is your employee management system, which has been done. Okay, so why ID is showing? Good question. Why ID is showing 1 and 3? That's a good question. Because why it is showing means before we have added the, if you remember, while doing the backend part, I've added Vidya, right? I've added Vidyasri and I've deleted that employee. Using the post request, I've deleted that employee as well. At that time, the ID is 2. And when I'm creating a new ID, it is auto incrementing because in the backend, I've defined like this, right? In the backend, I've defined like this for the entity. For the entity, how I have defined for the ID, generated value strategy is equal to generation type dot identity. Means this represents, it will be auto incremented. It will be auto incremented. Once you add the new data, it will be auto incremented. So because of that reason, you are getting 3 instead of 2. Okay. Otherwise, you from the back end, you can change it up from 2. Okay. So like that you can do, but ID you need not to mention here. The employee ID is not, it's okay not to mention here. You can directly mention this thing. So, okay. Since I have used the auto increment, I'm not passing the ID. While adding employee also, I'm not passing the ID. Only passing first name, last name, and email from here. You can, in the backend API, you can pass it up. But the thing is, in the front end, I'm passing only these fields. So because of that reason, it is been auto incremented in the backend because of this at the rate generated value. Am I clear, Nirav? Yes, why it is showing 1 and 3? Is it clear? Because of this annotation, auto incrementation in the back. If you remove this, you need to pass again ID as. From the front end also, you need to pass ID. You need to create the ID field and you need to pass the ID as. So that's the reason why. Okay. So this is your employee management app. So here I've added only 3 in the CRUD-based operations. One is listing, reading all your employees, and one is updating your employees, and the other one is adding your employee. But I'm missing one functionality. What is that functionality? Can you tell? What is the functionality that I'm missing? One endpoint I'm missing. One API endpoint. One REST API I'm missing. What is the functionality? Updating I'm doing, adding I'm doing, creating I'm doing. I'm listing also. I'm reading all the data. But one functionality I'm missing. What is the functionality? Can you tell first? Fast. The chat box. Quick. What happened? What is the functionality you are missing? It is delete functionality, right? I'm not done the delete functionality here. I've only done the create functionality in the front end. In the back end, I've done the delete functionality, delete endpoint, but I'm not using that endpoint inside your front end, inside your React.js. Right? I'm only using get to functionality, get API. I'm using post API for creating your employee, add employee. I'm using put as well, but I'm not using this delete API. So can you try this up? Can I give this as an assignment to you? Can you try this up for today? Observe this code. This code will be readily available inside your GitHub. Observe this code and implement this project inside your local. Download it as a zip file and implement the backend as well as front end. And then can you implement this functionality by tomorrow? Can you implement that functionality by tomorrow? So you are, Preeti, you are seeing the screen of me, my video, but you are not seeing my Zoom screen of your sharing. The sharing screen you need to see. Then you will be able to see that on your screen. You are seeing just my video on your you're not seeing my share screen. You should see the share screen tab. You should change that to share screen tab. Then you'll be able to see that. Okay. So I have implemented the get API. I've implemented the post API. I've implemented the put API as well inside your front end. But I have not implemented this delete API. Can you try it out from your end? I'll be giving this as your assignment for today. Observe the code, understand the code, and implement inside your locally, and then complete this assignment by tomorrow. Okay. So simple. It's a simple one actually. I can only tell the code, but please understand, like you need to write just another single API, and in one component you need to implement it. I will not tell you the component in which component you need to include that delete API, delete functionality, delete button functionality. But please observe the code, and then you'll be able to understand. If you have implemented the functionality by your own, the delete functionality by your own, then you have understood the React.js code as well, the React.js application of your EMS as well. The basic React.js, the simple React.js full stack application, the mini project code you have understood. Okay. And what I will be doing, I will also be posting the e-commerce code inside your GitHub. Okay. E-commerce code, React.js code also in the GitHub, the front end part. I'll also be posting that. Please clone that inside your local system and observe the code and implement the other functionality for that code. Okay, so that will be your assignment for today. Okay, you have understood your assignment, right? Have you understood your assignment? Have you understood your assignment? Yes, can I get a quick heads up in the chat box before we wind up for the day? Yes, okay. So on that note, I'm done with the FSD module. Okay, I'm done with the FSD module. If you have done with the assignment, and you have your GitHub link as well, right? Yes, you have your GitHub link as well, right? I will be sharing again one time on your chat box. Okay, you can get that GitHub link. Okay, this is a GitHub link where I'll be pasting other codes as well, other projects as well. You can directly see this GitHub link. Okay, so this is to summarize. This is the end of your FSD module, where we started initially with what is FSD on your first day, and then we have discussed about core Java, or what is Java, or why we need Java, etc. We have discussed, and we have discussed core Java fundamentals. Okay, then we went to it with exception handling, multi-threading. Yes, so exception handling, multi-threading, and what we have discussed at that time. So exception handling, multi-threading, and your file streams as well we have discussed. And then we jumped into JDBC. Okay. Then we jumped into JDBC over these 7 days. What we have the sessions. We have discussed the JDBC. Then we have discussed servlets a bit as well. With the servlets coding as well. Then JSP. Then I did not do the overall, but I have given the conceptual understanding on that as well. And then we jumped into Spring. Spring Core we have discussed one session with Spring Core itself. Then DI, dependency injection, here we have discussed. And then we went with Spring Boot and Spring REST, web module as well, MVC module as well we have discussed. Okay, MVC module as well we have discussed. And then we went with HTML and we went with CSS. Today we have discussed VS and then we have discussed projects. So this is what we have discussed for these 7 days in the FSD module. Okay, I hope you got some learning out of this. So maybe not in-depth learning from my side, but the thing is some understanding over these concepts. So this understanding is enough, guys, to get in-depth understanding on these concepts as well from your end. Okay, this overall understanding on these concepts is more than enough over these 7 days what you have learned on FSD module. The overall understanding on these concepts is more than enough to go over depth as well. To go over depth and over understand as well. Like to go in depth understanding as well. The understanding that the basic understanding, the conceptual understanding I've given already. If you wanted to go more in depth, what you need to do, guys? What you need to do? What is the only solution to go more in depth and to get the best understanding? What is the only solution? It is practice. Okay, the only thing is practice, code much. Okay, not theory, practice, code much. Inside your Eclipse or inside your VS Code, only the code. If you can practice every day, then definitely you will be able to be expertise in your VS Code, in your full stack. In your full stack, you'll be able to expertise. You'll gain expertise into your full stack, and then definitely you'll be a real full stack developer. Okay, so you require much practice on the concepts. Okay, so on that note, I'm done from my side on the FSC side. So if you have any questions or anything related to the subject, I can answer, or anything related to non-subject as well, I can answer for the next 1 minute. If there are no questions, we can wind up for the day. Can I get a quick response? Did you have understood all the concepts or how the session went all these 7 days? You can use some inputs also. You can do it over the chat box. Okay, so yeah, thank you, Sujita. Like practice, keep on practicing the code to a good extent so that you will have a good understanding on the full stack. Okay, thank you, Nirav. Thanks for joining. So on that note, I'll be winding up the session here. So thank you so much, guys, for all the 7 days. So for your patience and for your contributions in the session with no disturbance and etc. You have listened the session so carefully, and you are too interactive as well. So keep up the same approach. Keep up the same approach, and only one thing you should be doing to expertise is, that is only one thing. You should be doing from now on is put your GitHub log your projects, and the one thing that you can do is eat, sleep, code, and repeat. So as maximize as you can. This formula, if you follow, definitely you'll be a full stack. Okay. So on that note, thank you so much. I'll be winding up the session here and signing off. Thank you. Good night, guys.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you so much for all the 7 days of workshop. I hope this was helpful for all the students who have attended. Thank you so much. We'll meet for further STPs. Will definitely connect with you. Thank you so much for your classes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sushmita.
Yeah. So yes, students, as sir informed, today is the last day for FSC. From tomorrow, we are starting with ML, that is machine learning. So that will be taking from other trainer. Okay, so he'll be continuing from tomorrow. Okay, yeah. Tomorrow again at 7 p.m. Kindly join. Okay, we'll meet again by tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Thank you all for joining. Good night.